Hi YouTube, it's Delish again, and I'm here with Eman, and he was able to come visit me this weekend. We're at my parents' house, and I wanted to do another video with him. It'll be based on, um, this will really be centered on spouses or partners or boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, husband's support in your natural hair journey. And I just wanted you guys to hear a male's perspective on it. So I'll be asking him some questions. This will be kind of me interviewing him. You ready?
Let's do it.
Alright. Alright, so do you remember when I went natural or how you felt when I went natural? Remember?
I remember the process. It was not really like a certain day. You just kind of got frustrated and like, that's it, I'm not getting a perm anymore, kind of thing. And eventually just kind of, honestly, I thought you were going through a phase and after 6 weeks you would go and get a perm and go right back to how you were. Because you like to change your hairstyle, so I thought it was just something new to do. And I was very unfamiliar with natural hair and that whole persona. Of course, being a guy, I don't really know much about natural hair stuff. I will say I was on edge about it because I didn't know how it was
You
going to turn.
remember when you became comfortable with, me having natural hair?
I would say the first time I became absolutely comfortable and happy about it was the first time I saw you do the wash and go. Did I say it right?
Yes.
The wash and go. One of my favorites. So when I saw that, I was like, this is tight. She's really pulling it off, and I liked it. I have to admit, it was my new favorite hairstyle. So it was my hairstyle choice. So I became very comfortable with the idea.
How do you feel that you support me in my natural hair journey?
Well, I try to, learn the new terminology. And for a while there, it seemed like you were learning something new every day. And I was just like, just give me a quick rundown every week so I can just keep up on what you're talking about, your new styles and products that you were doing. And, I give you feedback on your hair, what styles I like, what styles I don't like. And I even supported you as you decided to become what I call a chemist and create new concoctions for your hair and everything and just embraced it, because I feel like that's the best thing to do is let you find out what you like, what you don't like, and then help you narrow down what you should and should not do. And the best way for me to do that is to gain an interest in it.
Okay. Have you seen any cons in me of me going natural?
Um, a couple. The first was the price. Good Lord, like you helped the economy return back to its prominence almost with all the products you originally bought. It was just like, wow. You bought a lot of products in the beginning. That was a con for me. But I realized it was a, shopping around, finding what works and what doesn't work kind of thing. Not really a con, but something I had to get used to was, I was raised in a house of people who had perms and relaxed hair. So all these new terminologies we were talking about, I had no idea. And, I like to at least have somewhat of an idea about, what you talk about, and you were just speaking another language to me, which I now understand what you talk about when you were saying you don't understand me when I talk lawyer talk. So I had to get used to that. Another con is your hair just, I don't know, to me it seems like either it's much more sensitive or you're just much more in tune to what your hair needs and what it doesn't need. And so a lot of times I feel like we were being overly cautious with your hair, but I have to admit the finished product is worth the journey.
Okay. Are there any pros of me going natural?
Pros would be the new culture that you've, just engulfed yourself in. Of course, the hair, as I said, the end journey is really worth it. It was just something new, and usually change, especially something of that drastic of a change, is always a lot of tension for some people, especially for me. Change is not something I like to just embrace a lot. I will give it a try, but it will come with hesitation. And since going through that, allowing that change to happen, I've seen you become more confident with your hair and more confident with yourself and become a stronger, more beautiful woman, in my opinion. And, I just think, like, for those who are thinking about going natural, it could be a very empowering, change for you. So that's the biggest positive, which to me is a big positive.
Is there any style that I've done that you would say, don't you ever do that again? Any?
Considering I know all the terminologies for everything,
Let us try.
I'm gonna see. The little twisty thingies when you had it twisted, but it was very small, matted. I didn't like how it looked.
Oh, the ones that I had when I came to visit you last weekend? Those?
Not those. The very first, like back in the day, back when you didn't know what you were doing, you made twisties, and they just looked like, you know.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Look like
about.
Hellraiser. You know, that dude
I
Hellraiser.
know what you're
So
talking about.
those, I would say, let's just not do those anymore. Thankfully, you haven't done them, so I don't have to worry about that.
When I tried to wrap my hair around straws.
Yes, that thank you. Let's just stay away from that.
Yeah, that was time consuming, anyways.
Yeah, that's one I'm been glad to see not go. Other than that, I mean, you know, you've been pretty much into it. Yeah, all the other styles I generally like, as long as your hands stay out of your hair.
Okay, now, recently I big chopped, and he has a problem with scissors coming to the hair. He really does. I remember when I first went natural, no, not actually even before I went natural, even when I was relaxed, anytime he heard scissors in my hair in the same sentence, he would go berserk. So, how do you feel about the last time that I cut my hair? How did you feel then and how do you feel now?
I'll be honest, when you first told me you were going to do it, I was pissed off beyond belief because, yeah, I have a major problem with the hair getting cut. I do. I like long hair, I like to play with it, and the chop and the big chopping is the biggest change, and again, you know, I had some hesitation towards it. But when I saw it, you know, I saw that it wasn't that bad. You know, I actually liked it. You pulled it off. But it did take me some preparation. I'm glad you didn't do it and just show up one day, hey, my hair's gone. That probably wouldn't have worked for me. And I feel like, you know, in one way, I wish you would have done the big chop in the beginning. But in another way, I'm glad you didn't because, you know, by trimming it and then finally chopping it, it allowed me to get, you know, more comfortable with the big chop because that was just, yeah, that was a big step. And I'm happy because it's growing back quickly, so.